You know, as a fan of comic books, when I was getting into them as a child, it was one of my first loves before pro wrestling and before MMA. You used to see all the time in school all these kids, oh, I've got the Spider-Man comics, oh, I've got the Captain America comics, oh, I've got the X-Men comics. And I was a fan of all of those. But one of my first comics and one of my first loves as a comic book fan actually was the one comic I could only afford, or the few comic titles I could afford, because I didn't have a mum that was going to give me lots of pocket money as a child. My mum was not like that. So I had to be very wise with the pocket money that I had. So when I used to buy comics, and all the rich kids used to just buy all the Captain America and all the Spider-Man and all the X-Men and all the Batman comics, with the money I had, I could only really at that time when I was first getting into comics afford 3 titles. Dazzler was one, you'd laugh. Quasar was the other one, and then the last one was indeed the very original Guardians of the Galaxy. And I would never ever have imagined that years later, as a 29-year-old man, if you told the young child that this will be a film one day and this will completely blow your mind, if you had told me that, if I could days of future past myself and the adult me could tell the child me that, I would have never have believed it. And it was very near and dear to my heart because it was one of the first loves I had as a comic. The Quasar, it was really Quasar introducing me to the space cosmic universe, and from there reading the original Guardians of the Galaxy, which I've just shown you, and then the Silver Surfer was another character I really, really loved, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, it just had that sentimental value to me. So to and it was one of those things because it's going to sound really weird, it got me through school. School wasn't an easy place for me to be in. I could talk about another title and my time at school, and you could see the links as to why I like that title, the X-Men, by the way. But Guardians of the Galaxy was just a lot of fun for me as a child, and it meant something to me because it was like every Saturday with the 250 that I had, or 150 that I had, I could just walk down the road and get it, and it was my title. And then you fast forward to all those years later, years and years later, and Marvel are doing this cinematic universe, and they're doing all these films. You got Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Avengers, more Captain America stuff, Doctor Strange. And then when they announced the rebooted Guardians of the Galaxy in 2008, coming back after the Annihilation story, which I've got here in my bed, like a typical fanboy nerd. When they announced that, I was like, there's no way. And they did it. And I was so excited for this film. So pumped up for this film. When they announced it, I watched the Comic-Con like a nerd. And you know what, I don't care if that's a deal shelf, I don't give a shit. But I watched the Comic-Con, I was so hyped up for it. I was so excited for it. People who know me in person, who have these conversations, will know I was just so pumped up for it. Just buying the new Guardians of the Galaxy title from 2009 onwards, and being a fan of that title, and the whole Annihilation, the Infinity Gauntlet storylines, all of that, and watching this film, there's that risk where, when your expectations are so high, anything under here is not acceptable. I went to this film just hoping for a passable film, because it's the space stuff, and I don't know how well it's going to translate, and I know some people kind of struggled with it a bit when they watched Thor. I know so many people kind of wasn't too sure how it was going to turn out. Guardians of the Galaxy surpassed my expectations as a fan, and it brought out the 7-year-old child in me that used to get so excited reading the original title back in the day, although it was a different cast of characters, except for Yondu. But he was a bit different anyways. But it brought out that in me, and it was just so much fun, and it was so quirky and strange and unashamed to be quirky and strange and good. And that's the thing. It just fit together so well. Everybody was excellent. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord Peter Quill, and yes, I have Star-Lord in my other cabinet over there. He was excellent. And I know a lot of people wanted Nathan Fillion, and people wanted other names, and You know, when he got cast over, you know, the fat guy from The Office, oh, are you sure? And from Everwood. And he nailed it. And he put a lot of his own personality into it, and he made it fun, and he was hilarious. And the way they started him off with this personal story, which I won't spoil, but when they start it off, instead of giving you an hour of his origin, they hit the nail on the head right away. And as soon as they kind of, you kind of start to feel for the character, even though he's a bit of a jerk at certain times. I felt myself, you know, like it was the first time I was reading this and I was getting into what I was reading again. You have that happening. You have a great backstory with Gamora, and she's always had a great backstory. And I like the way that was done. And you ended up feeling for all of these characters. That's how I felt. And then, of course, you had Groot, which really blew a lot of people away. And I watched the reactions of the people in the cinema. And he really, I mean, to me, it's a true sign and a testament to the work of the production team, the CGI people, and Vin Diesel and James Gunn. Because for a character that had 3 words, the entire, you know, time, the same 3 words, people were very, very into Groot. People were very into Groot. And Groot is a fun character in the comics. But it was just so well done, and his chemistry, the dynamic between him and Rocket, the other character, it was so funny to watch. And Rocket was a really funny character. I wasn't too sure how they were going to do that. That could be a disaster. It doesn't always work, but this was really, he was so funny. It was a lot of comic book fans say if it's not exactly like the comics, then yeah, it's not the same. It was like the comics, but it also had these other things. It just was so much fun. I grinned from ear to ear for the entire 2 hours, not the whole time, watching the film. Rocket was hilarious. Oh, the one-liners and the back and forths with him and the other characters were just brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, I was in stitches. Rocket is funny in the comics, but wow. I mean, if they ever end up having the Guardians cross with the Avengers, that would be very interesting to see how he interacts with someone like Iron Man. It would be pretty funny. And you feel sympathetic for him. You know, he's this sarky character with a mouth who's a bit of a thief and all of that, but there's a certain scene, and when he kind of gives you his backstory himself, and you feel really sad for him. And I felt very sad for him, and I already know the story anyways in the comics, but it's like I completely forgot that, and I felt it worked. Now let's talk about the real surprise of the entire film, Dave Bautista. Oh my goodness. You know what? I will say this. I don't think expectations were too high for how he was going to be. I don't think people expected him to get a lot of lines. In fact, I think he got more lines than the drunks walking down my road. Oh, great, kids on Alco Pops, for fuck's sake. Than them lot have got. But Bautista was really, really good. He played Drax very, very well. He was the straight man, but he was like a bit of a maniac, and he said some strange things. But it worked, and it was so funny. There was a great line in the trailer when this Rocket's like, oh, just go over his head. And he's like, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too quick. I will catch it. And he doesn't realise what they really mean. It's just like, it's quite funny here, you know, how he responded to them. And he has a great backstory too. And that's a character that I don't think really got developed enough in Marvel. Other than the fact they changed his appearance back, you know, when he used to wear the purple, he used to look like an oversized Skrull to me. And now they've changed it, you know, a few years with the marks and the bald head. I've got the action figure actually on my desk. That's a character that really was fun, and I wasn't sure how that was going to be. And that's a character that isn't developed as well in the comics, but he did such a good job. They all brought the characters to life, and it was so funny just watching them talk and interact with one another. And the soundtrack was hilarious. I mean, it just, on paper you'd think, yeah, no, but it worked. It was fantastic. It was the most fun I've had. And you know what, Marvel once again have added another top film to their collection of top films. And this year it's been like a 1-2 knockout punch, with Winter Soldier being absolutely mind-blowing, and now you've got Guardians of the Galaxy really, really doing better than I think people thought it would do. And well done, and thank you for not something that was very near and dear to me in a strange way. Doing very and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I identified with Peter Quill's character in some respects. Not saying that I got kidnapped by aliens or anything, but it just worked so well. It worked so well. It was so much fun to watch. I don't think it's I would put it on par with Avengers. I would say it was better than Days of Future Past, and Days of Future Past was a fantastic film. It was just so much fun. And that's what you want. At the end of the day, you want to have so much fun. And I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to tell you all, look, just go see this film. You will have the time of your life. It is absolute fun. And that's what you want to have at the end of the day. You don't want to sit there miserable and depressed about everything. God knows I've been the last couple of weeks and months with, real life hitting you. And it's good to switch off for a few hours and just have fun. And that's what I had. And I'll tell you what, there's serious money in Thanos. It was like that same feeling you get when Lesnar's music hits in WWE. Everything was amazing. It was a lot of fun. The post-credits scene at the end, I won't spoil it, but what did I think of it? It wasn't like anything big like Winter Soldier with what we had with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Come on, we should have seen the film by now to know about that. It wasn't anything like that. It was wacky, and it kind of fit with the film, and it fit with what was going on with a certain person. And wow, I had a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen it, please go and see it. Enjoy it. Thank you everybody who did the film. They filmed it actually in London, some of it. It's kind of crazy. And go and see it. Have a good time. Enjoy it. Get some popcorn. My green tea was in the little cup holder, and it was so cold because I just completely forgot it was there, and then I just drank it, down it. But the thing is, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it, and it's good, light-hearted entertainment, and that's what you want to have. And I didn't feel like I wasted one penny watching it. Don't usually do film reviews, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. If you haven't already, I'm Buff Bin Stuffed. Hello everybody. I'm a pro wrestling guy. I'm a mixed martial arts guy. I'm a boxing guy. I'm a general vlogger. I love comics and I love films, and I just talk about the things that I want to get off my chest, and this is one of them. So if you haven't seen me before, hit that like button, comment down below if you've seen the film or you're intrigued by the film, and hit that subscribe button, because something wonderful happens when you do. Take care, love you all. Go see the film. Go see the film right now. Get off your couch, put down your pizza, put down your French fries, put down your apple pie, put down your Coca-Cola, put down your Diet Coke, put down your Dr. Pepper and your Mountain Dew. Go see that film. Goodbye.